Kraven the Hunter is easily one of Spider-Man's greatest villains, but how much do you know about him? Let's find out. What's up, my comic comrades? Today we break down the history of one of Spider-Man's best villains, Kraven the Hunter. He's going to be appearing as one of the main villains of the Spider-Man 2 game for PS5 and getting his own live-action movie, which was supposed to come out this year, but is now pushed to 2024. In any case, let's dive into one of Spider-Man's most formidable enemies. Kraven the Hunter first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man issue 15 in 1964. He was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. The inspiration behind Kraven had come from a short story that was made by Richard Connell, known as The Most Dangerous Game. Because of this, Kraven was a very unique character, as he viewed Spider-Man as the most dangerous game, just a trophy or prize to be won to prove his manhunting abilities. Now, even though Kraven was a successful villain and one of the most iconic Spider-Man villains initially, the main concept for the character started to fade, as of course Spider-Man always had to win, meaning Kraven was nothing more than an unsuccessful manhunter or mercenary. But with that said, let's get into the character's fictional origin. Alright, in Kraven's first appearance in The Amazing Spider-Man 15, at the beginning of the issue we learn that the villain the Chameleon is fed up with Spider-Man, saying, "I could see that Spider-Man is now more dangerous to me than ever. So long as he lives, my security will be in danger. I still remember what a dangerous foe he was when I first fought him, and he was just beginning his career at the time. After I was arrested as a spy and deported, I lived in exile all this time. But now that I've returned to resume my crime career, I find Spider-Man still threatens me. He must be disposed of, but by whom? He's too dangerous for me to tackle, and no one else would be foolhardy enough to attack him just for my benefit." Chameleon then smirks while holding a cigarette, saying, "Wait, I'm wrong. There is a man to do the job. A man who would relish the task. My old friend Kraven the Hunter, the most dangerous stalker on Earth. I'll send him a wire immediately." A week later, at the editorial offices of the Daily Bugle, publisher J. Jonah Jameson storms through his door saying, "Miss Brandt, the biggest story of the year is about to break at the pier. Kraven the Hunter is arriving from Africa. Call Parker, have him meet us there with his camera." To which Brandt says, "Yes sir, of course, but who is Kraven the Hunter, Mr. Jameson?" He answers, "Kraven is a living legend, the greatest hunter of all time. He's trapped and defeated every type of beast that lives, and always single-handed." Giving us some backstory of who Kraven is for the very first time. Anyway, once Kraven arrives at New York City, he walks off his boat. Everyone is in awe as they see the great Kraven the Hunter. Jameson tries to get an interview with him, but he just replies, "I'm not interested. I'm a hunter. I came here to hunt the most dangerous game of all," which we know is Spider-Man. Now nearby, as this is happening, some poisonous snakes and a gorilla escape. At which point Parker suits up and goes to save the day as Spider-Man, but realizes Kraven more than has this under control, as he grabs the snakes and literally manhandles a gorilla, even lifting it over his head. After Kraven recages the animals, Jameson says, "Mr. Kraven, I'd like to ask, what are you doing here? What are you going to hunt? There aren't any wild beasts running loose that I know of." Kraven responds, "You're wrong. There is one who seems to be more than human. He will be my greatest conquest. The most dangerous game in the world is man, and I shall have the most dangerous man of all, the one who calls himself Spider-Man." With Parker nearby listening, saying to himself, "He's going to hunt me? Oh brother, I had a feeling I should have stayed in bed today." After this, now in New York City, Kraven goes to meet the Chameleon, who's the one who requested his presence to take down Spider-Man. I should have also mentioned that the Chameleon and Kraven are half-brothers, which is why they're so close. Chameleon then tells Kraven, "I've collected all the data and information about Spider-Man that I could find. It's made up of newspaper reports, magazines, articles, and first-hand interviews with people who've seen him." Kraven, while drinking some sort of potion, says, "Good. I want to know everything about my quarry. It will make the hunt that much more interesting." Chameleon responds as Kraven sits down to drink what he just poured, "Don't underestimate him, Kraven. Remember, he's no simple jungle beast." Kraven responds, "And you remember, my friend, I am no ordinary hunter. I possess super strength and speed, which I obtained by drinking a secret potion stolen from the witch doctor of a hidden African tribe. With one punch, I could stop the charge of a bull elephant." Essentially, we learn throughout the issue that Kraven was a man obsessed with hunting and over time became the world's greatest manhunter, capturing and defeating every beast the jungle and wild has to offer. But when he heard of a new challenge from the Chameleon about the world's most dangerous man, Spider-Man, he couldn't turn it down, as he constantly has to prove to himself that he can hunt and capture anything or anyone. He quite literally is in it for the thrill of the hunt. As you would guess, throughout their first meeting, Kraven gives Spider-Man a run for his money, even getting the upper hand several times, like capturing Spider-Man in a net and putting his arm and legs in a trap to slow him down. But ultimately, Spider-Man pulls out the win like any spider does by capturing its victims in a web. But there you have it, Kraven's origin and his first encounter with Spider-Man. So it's time to move on to to Craven's additional story arcs. But while we're on the topic, check out these dope Marvel puzzles from Buffalo Games. I don't know about you, but I've always liked building a good puzzle with friends and or family. There's just something kind of therapeutic about it. And today's sponsor, Buffalo Games, makes some of the coolest puzzles I've seen, especially their comic themed stuff. They actually sent over some of their Spider-Man themed puzzles to show you, and these things are awesome. The Marvel line has a variety of puzzle images, from comic covers to character collages. There's something for any taste, really. And what I love is that it's something fun and constructive I could do with my young kids, or go for a bigger challenge with a higher piece count. And all these puzzles are manufactured from premium quality materials, including 100% recycled paperboard. Let me ask you guys something. Have you ever had to move a puzzle you started working on only to have it break and fall apart, followed by an epic burst of rage? Well, Buffalo Games puzzles are made using trademarked perfect snap technology, which ensures a tight interlocking fit between the puzzle pieces, so when you pick it up, it doesn't easily fall apart. To check out Buffalo Games Marvel puzzles on their website, just visit buffalogames.com/Marvel and use code VARIANT15 for 15% off Marvel puzzles. The discount expires soon, so don't procrastinate. Channel your inner hero and puzzle like a pro. Okay, when it comes to Kraven the Hunter's story arcs, there is no shortage of great stories, hence him being one of Spider-Man's best villains. But we're just going to run down a few of our favorites. First, we have to talk about Spider-Man Annual 1, the first appearance and origin of the Sinister Six, in which Kraven is a founding member. Dr. Octopus gathers villains, which consist of Mysterio, Electro, Kraven, Vulture, and Sandman. And once gathered, Octopus tells them individually they have not been able to take down Spider-Man, but together they can. Kraven says, "I do not hunt in a pack. Only by a solo victory will I achieve the revenge I seek." Otto then devises a plan for Spider-Man to fight each villain, one after another, until they wear him down and one of them defeats him. He then gives each member a location, saying it is the place where you will battle our common enemy, and each location is best suited for your particular talents. I have left nothing to chance, as you shall see. Spider-Man will have no choice. He will have to fight one after another, and each will weaken him a little more. So his chances will grow slimmer after each battle. First, he fights Electro, and secondly, Kraven. After defeating Electro, he takes a card he has, which tells him where his next threat will be. This brings him across the bay from the World's Fair, and when he arrives, he's greeted by two leopards, with Kraven right behind them saying, "So Spider-Man, we meet again, and this time the hunter shall get his prey, with the aid of my two little pets." Spider-Man is forced to fight Kraven and the two leopards at the same time. Kraven, while fighting Spider-Man, who keeps dodging all of their attacks, says, "He's holding my pets off with that blasted webbing of his. I got to escape while I can." Spider-Man then says, "Running off so soon, Kraven? Hope I haven't bothered you too much." At which point Spider-Man is able to steal a clue card away from Kraven to go on to his next opponent. So this was a short encounter with Kraven, but an iconic one nonetheless, as it's Spider-Man's first encounter with the original Sinister Six. Next up, we have the two-part story found in the Amazing Spider-Man 103 and 104. Essentially, in the story, Kraven becomes the master of a giant beast known as Gog. Years later, we would find out this monstrous animal was a family pet sent to Earth from a dying world. However, at this point in time, Kraven just used it as his pet to conquer the Savage Land, which all comes to a head in the Amazing Spider-Man 104. At the beginning of the issue, we see Kraven has used Gog to capture Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man's love. Once captured, Kraven basically tells Gwen, "You see, I have chosen you for my mate." Hey, Kraven, just gonna go out on a limb here and say, I don't think that's how that works. Nope. Anyway, Kraven goes on saying, "Since I've chosen you for my mate, I'm gonna tell you why I'm here in the Savage Land. You see, I once battled Khazar, the self-proclaimed ruler of this lost world. But soon after the battle was ended and Khazar had returned to his land, I began to brood. Idleness, the one enemy I could not best in combat. Even now it crushes me in its grip, as no animal or human foe could ever do. Then suddenly I could no longer take it. I am mightier than Khazar. I am the greatest huntsman of all. The hidden jungle must be mine and only mine," explaining why Kraven is in the Savage Land. After this, obviously Spidey comes to rescue Gwen with the help of Khazar. Khazar takes on Kraven, saying, "Now surrender, huntsman, while you still have a life to save." But of course, Kraven doesn't, throwing a whip around his neck, trying to strangle Khazar. See dark visions of Kraven sitting proud upon his throne of his hidden jungle. But Khazar is able to grab the rope and swing kick Kraven off the cliff, seemingly killing him. Khazar then looks off the cliff saying, "I did not mean for it to end like this." And yet perhaps there was no other way he could have ended. He lived without mercy and he died without warning. Meanwhile, while Spider-Man is fighting the monstrous Gog, in the midst of their battle, a T-Rex gets involved and starts fighting Gog. Gog defeats the T-Rex, and Spider-Man then lures Gog into a massive quicksand pit where he sinks to his doom. But how crazy is that one of the best Kraven stories isn't even Kraven actually fighting Spider-Man, but rather Khazar, which is an epic battle, a battle that ended with his death, or at least we thought so at the time. Next, we have the best Kraven the Hunter story of all time, and probably my favorite Spider-Man story, Kraven's Last Hunt. Now, first and foremost, this story is an extremely dark Spider-Man story, which which makes all the sense in the world when you find out it was originally supposed to be a Batman story. The story focuses on Kraven finally achieving his ultimate goal of killing Spider-Man. The nutty thing is, once he kills and buries Spider-Man, he takes on the Spider-Man mantle for himself, donning the black Spider-Man suit, which he was wearing at the time. Kraven tries to be a better Spider-Man and then learns what it is to be Spider-Man. The story gives us one of the best explorations of Kraven's psyche and how much the defeats at the hands of Spider-Man have affected him over the years. But come on, Spidey ain't dead, at least not for long, as we see Pete dig himself out of his own grave all zombie style and then goes to confront Kraven. But Kraven at this point was more mentally unstable or broken than ever. Instead, he had achieved everything he wanted, thus his hunt was over, so the last thing he would shoot is himself. Thus, Kraven's last hunt. This isn't the best Kraven story, it's the best Spider-Man story, period, at least in my opinion. Now, there are a ton more great Kraven stories, but we're gonna end with this. The Gauntlet/Grim Hunt. The story is most known for bringing Kraven back to life and introduces the rest of Kraven's family, giving us more depth to the character. But with that said, we must move on to powers and abilities. First and foremost, Kraven is the world's best hunter. He's literally hunted anything and everything, including dinosaurs and even Spider-Man, successfully. He studies his prey, learning everything he needs to take them down. As far as fighting style, he's developed his own over the years, which focuses on capturing and getting the upper hand over his prey. Dude literally wrestles down bears, lions, and pretty much anything. He's essentially invented his own form of jiu-jitsu as he grapples and brings down his opponents. Kraven is also superpowered after drinking a special potion that he found from a local doctor, which increased his speed, strength, and agility. With these enhanced abilities, he can lift around 2 tons and run around 60 miles an hour, being fast enough to chase down animals like cheetahs. His senses, like his sight, hearing, and smell, are also enhanced, and he doesn't get tired or feel pain nearly as much as normal humans. All in all, Kraven is one of the best hunters around, and with his added superhuman abilities, it makes him a massive threat to the webhead. As for reading recommendations, check out The Amazing Spider-Man Annual 1, The Gauntlet and Grim Hunt, The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl Issue 1, Venom 156 through 158, Hunted and Amazing Spider-Man 16 through 23, and of course, Kraven's Last Hunt. But that does it for our history of Kraven the Hunter, so now it is your turn. Let us know what your thoughts on the character is down in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.